Operations Bravo 21.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Nez Porter at American Legion Highway and Blue Hill Ave. Just want to document how many cars travel in the bike lane. As you know, Blue Hill Ave is only 2 lanes. So any cars in the 3rd lane is the bike lane, which makes it very unsafe for bikers. And they've been known to do this from all the way from Milton all the way up. So you see how many cars travel in the bike lane. And they literally cut you off in the bike lane. So you see how many cars we can catch traveling in the bike lane. So keep in mind all the cars that are closest to me traveling in the bike lane. Like this white car coming up right now, that's technically and legally the bike lane. And they all do it. Buses do it, trucks do it. I see near accidents, people on bikes almost get ran over because cars want to speed in the bike lane and pass other cars. A lot of times they're trying to get up there to make that right on Glenway, or sometimes go straight down, but either way they do it. So I figured that'd be one of my things I do. I had quite a few things I gotta do, so I'm getting most things off my list.
Operations of Bravo Tango 55.
So we'll hang around here for a little bit, see how many cars actually travel in the bike lane.
Sir, can I have your suspected
It's not clearly marked, but the city of Boston should mark it, but most people know Blue Hill Ave is only 2 lanes. Now that 3rd lane you see right there is the left-hand turn only lane, but anything else is just 2 lanes. There's never been 3 lanes on Blue Hill Ave, it's only been 2. So we'll see, we'll just document how many cars actually travel in the physical bike lane. And it's not safe for bikers. You know, there's people that are riding their bikes like myself, and you see cars just whizzing by you. And there was another young lady earlier, she was opening her car door and a car came whizzing by her, like, you know, as if they belong in that lane. And we'll just keep an eye out. I think there's a car further down coming up in the bike lane. They do it all the time. And they're speeding. They're definitely speeding. They're not doing 25. It's even worse down by Mattapan Square. If you just come into Milton, and I believe that's Babson Street, if I'm not mistaken, you turn onto that, I think it's Babson Street. But there's the whole stretch in front of the stores over there, that's a bike lane, and everybody travels in there.
Voicemail. I left a message at you're over at 135 Milton, and give her a couple of minutes if she listens to it. I told her to call us back on 911, the correct address.
They do it more often than you realize. The traffic is not that heavy right now, but what is it, about almost 6:30 in the morning? So it'll probably start picking up a little bit as time goes on.
Okay.
You get more traffic coming from American Legion than you have from Blue Hill at this time. This guy's about to go in the bike lane too. See that? That's physically a bike lane right there. They must, and they call these guys professional drivers. You got a school, well, it's not a school van, it's a regular van. But he's still traveling in the bike lane. And it's not that much traffic, so at this point, there's no real reason to do it. It's just because you want to do it. There's really no reason to travel in the bike lane when there's no traffic on the road. Maybe the city got to mark the roads better, which, that's another thing is, the question was, why they're not fixing that Blue Hill Ave? And I think a lot of it's because they're waiting for the fiscal year in July to really fix the roads. The money they were supposed to use for last year, they didn't use it. They probably spent it on something else. Keep an eye out and see what we see. Colorado.
55, go again.
This guy right here, he's going way too fast. Then he pulls into the bike lane. A handicapped driver too, see that? That's not good. Another car right behind him following him. It's like monkey see, monkey do. You see one guy do it, the other guy wants to do it.
At 55, he's going to buzz you guys in.
I don't know, what is the fine for driving in the bike lane? Somebody look that up. You know, it must be a fine, right? The city can make a lot of revenue off of just catching people riding in the bike lane. Just have officers stand right here, or a few officers stand right here, just pull them over as you see them. You're going to catch at least 20, 30, 40, within an hour. You catch about 40 an hour, easily. And they use it for passing. Even though these cars are going pretty fast, the cars want to go faster in the bike lane, which is more dangerous. Look at this. At this point, no one seems to be going 25 miles an hour. He's definitely not doing 25 for sure. The only time they slow down when they see a light. Sometimes they'll do that whole stretch from what's that, Westview all the way up in the third lane, the so-called third lane. Even the school bus is doing. Look at that. And they're supposed to be professional drivers. Do you want a driver driving your kids on the school bus when he's not following the rules of the road? How safe is that for the children on the bus? That's actually Boston Public Schools HS188. It's even worse, you know. Our taxpaying dollars are paying for you to drive in the see how he almost come close to that car right there? This car's trying to come out, and these cars are driving in the bike lane. Got a little racing car in the back. I'm probably gonna refurbish it and make it work. Gonna refurbish it? I hear you.
Engine 10, Tower Ladder 3, Mercury, Major Burn, 247 Church Street, Boston, Europe Mach 1425 Winthrop Square, 238. Engine 50, a medical assist, 251st Avenue, Charlestown, Engine 50.
So today, this document how many cars actually travel in this. I'm assuming if they come down this far, they go all the way. the traffic gets a little heavier, you find more cars traveling in the bike lane. Not too sure what he's doing. He's doing a U-turn in the middle of the street. That's what he's doing. Like I said, more people do it than not. So he's looking at her like, what the heck is she doing? Well, we're wondering why you're in the bike lane.
Oh,
This is a bike lane, you know.
I didn't know
I'm
that.
documenting how many cars travel in the bike lane.
oh, I didn't know that.
You know it now.
Is it labeled well here?
Say it again.
Is it labeled really well here?
It's not. You're right. And that's not on the city. The city needs to label it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call the mayor and ask her why she don't
That's
label.
probably why I'm going to work and I pull over right about here because I'm going to turn and make a right up above.
I know. Everybody does it.
Yeah,
Don't
but
feel
I
bad.
didn't know- when I see it, I don't go into that lane.
Yeah, they need to label it too.
They do.
That's the first thing I'm doing. I'll call City Hall and ask them why they don't label it. No, you're not gonna get a ticket. Just be safe. You're not the only one doing it, so don't feel bad. Everybody's doing it, and it's not labeled. And she's 100% correct. It's not labeled. I rode the whole stretch on my bike, and I think the last labeling I seen was by last clear labeling. Let me put it correctly. The last clear labeling I saw was down by Morton Street, from all the way up. The other spots are kind of vague and faint. You can barely make it out. You can barely make it out that it's a bike lane, but technically this is a bike lane. And that goes to show you how much wear and tear. Let me show you where it would have been. See these marks right here that are faded? That would have been something. You walk down further, it's faded out too. Let me show you where that one's faded out. It's not clearly marked, so in her defense, it's not marked at all. I know those guys over there. What's up, my man? So this one is marked, but it's not clearly marked because as you can see, it's kind of like faded. But I don't know. I guess you could see it if you, well, maybe you can't too. Depends on what you're looking at. There's one right there. I don't think it's clear enough, to be honest with you. It's not, you know, there's no stripe. There should be a solid stripe going all the way up. And it's not. There's no solid stripe going up. There's nothing clearly marking that. So if you are driving a vehicle, you can't physically see that. It's impossible. I mean, especially if you're going pretty fast. A lot of cars come off of this street here, the bypass going down to Talbot Ave. I think that's Abbott Street. There's no sign on it. That's another thing. The city of Boston does not label streets very well. Like, there's no sign on that street whatsoever. Looks like a school bus traveling in the bike lane too. And these guys do it more often than you realize. It's another Boston Public School bus. You got some cars that are kind of double parked further down. You get a U-Haul truck and a car that's in the bike lane all the way down. Now this guy's riding, he's riding the bike, but he's in the roadway, which that's not safe either.
I'm calling 10.
Engine check.
Problem, I guess.
I'm gonna hang around for a little bit more. That needs to be fixed, but they won't fix that until who knows when. We'll hang around for like another 15 minutes and see what we can capture how many people actually travel in the bike lane. Quite a few. Quite a few. The other thing that I'm going to document too, the city is supposed to be responsible for cutting these trees back, like when trucks and buses are close to the curb. They're supposed to give it a good clearance so those trees do not overhang. And there's a lot of times you go around the city of Boston, there's trees, you know, sticking out into the street, extending and way, like for example, let me see if I can show you. We'll go up kind of high and show you all the trees that are blocking. Some of them are touching car roofs, so I mean that shouldn't happen. The city is supposed to maintain those trees. You look further down, there's even other trees that are even closer. Look like they're around the ground over there or something. I don't know what's going on in that corner. But you see all these cars that are traveling in the bike lane. There's another bus in the bike lane. So you see, you got to document what you see. Oh yeah. That's school bus 29. I'm not sure. That looks like a private school bus though. That's not a bus. That's not a Boston Public School. What's the matter? And these guys are speeding too. They're not going slow. They're going pretty fast. Even the transit bus in the bike lane. That's not good. Another transit bus in the bike lane. I don't think. No, I don't know. They don't have no authorization to travel in the bike lane anyway. Sometimes it's signs say bus and bike, but this is not the situation. And they could do that. They could make it a bus and bike lane only if they wanted to, but they haven't. As far as I know, it's only for cars in the first two lanes. Bikes are supposed to be in the last. Or depending on how you count one. If you count on one, then it's the first lane. If you count on three, then it's the third lane. See all these cars that are queued up right here? They're all in the bike lane. Everybody does it. The question is, how safe is the city road? Somebody asked me, and I told them they're not safe at all. Not safe at all. And the mayor doesn't care. Like, she doesn't, honestly, really, she doesn't care. And I can tell you why. Because if she did care, she would implicate a system or have people implicate a system to prevent this from happening. And the fact that you've been in office long enough to know better means you don't care. Then you wonder why people like Zezita de Pina act the way they do, because they try to reach out to these city officials time and time again, like I have, and they don't care. They say, oh, I'll look into it, I'll call you back, and they never do. So that's what you got to deal with. Another transit bus. I might end up reporting these buses as they come through. 1780. Like, you know, I might start documenting those. And transit buses are supposed to be held to a higher standard. They are, after all, considered professional drivers, whether we want to believe it or not. And now that they got a new general manager, I wonder if he's going to implicate new safety changes, which the T is lacking a lot of safety and training. And I can tell you this from what I know, and I talked to many, many people that work for the MBTA. The T is top heavy, and they lack training. Everybody from top to bottom, they lack training. Another car just jumped into the bike lane. Another one. So they don't realize it, but they're jumping into the bike lane. That's a bike lane. This guy's, look where he's at. He's crossed the line, which is not good. I mean, now he's trying to back up. That's not good either. I mean, you're already in the middle of the street, so you got to figure out what you're going to do at this point. Can't make this stuff up, guys. Looks like he's trying to cause an accident. That's what it looks like he's trying to do. I don't know. But look at all these cars out in the bike lane. Maybe call the school department too and ask them why the school buses are driving in the bike lane. That's how accidents happen like that. That car's cutting across way too many lanes at one time. I mean, typically you're supposed to switch one lane at a time. You don't cut across like 2 lanes at the same time. And I mean, it's not safe. All right, I think we documented enough of that. There's still cars up there in the bike lane, as you can see all the way down. And they travel all the way to Glenway. Sometimes all the way to Columbia Road doing the same thing. Another car in the bike lane. If you have your seatbelt on and you travel in the bike lane, are you driving safely? And the answer is no, because you're not driving safely. Safely means you're practicing all the safety measures of driving, following the rules of the road, you know, obeying signs and signals. So you're not driving safely because you have your seatbelt on. It's just the actual practice that makes you drive safely. Like I have all the airbag and seatbelt on. If I'm driving reckless, then I'm not driving safely. See that bike almost got hit by the MBTA bus. I don't know if you've seen that. Because the bike is in the bike lane and the bus is chasing behind him. And how do you have a safe bike lane if no one's respecting the rules and regulations of the road? That's a bike lane, you know. It's a bike lane. That's a bike lane. I'm documenting how many people travel in the bike lane. That's actually a bike lane.
It's a bike lane?
That's a bike lane.
It looks like a regular lane.
I know, but I'm gonna call the city and ask them why it's not marked the right way. But just I know you probably don't know, but now you know. Be safe out there. And he said the same thing. It's not marked. It's definitely not marked at all. And that falls under the city of Boston. And Mayor Wu, with all her budget spending on whatever she's spending money on, I don't know why she's spending the money on stuff No, I don't know. We're gonna have to talk to the mayor. She's gonna run away from me on this one. I know she is. The same way Tanya Hernandez, whatever her name is. I shook her hand. I talked to her. She told me she's the city councilor of Roxbury, which I already knew all that. She goes, any concerns that you have in the city of Boston? I said, oh yeah, I got a whole list. And she goes, well, talk to my assistant. Give him your number. I gave him my number and everything. Never heard from him again. They ran away. And she knows exactly who I am. Like, most of the public officials know exactly who Nestor Porter is. If they don't, I don't know where they've been hiding. They've been hiding under a rock or something. But now the MBTA bus driver said he didn't know that. And you know what? The city needs to mark these roads better. And it's been over 4 years since they even marked these roadways. This much roadway wear does not happen in 1 year, just so you guys know. And if it does happen in 1 year, they're using the wrong kind of paint. And here comes a pickup truck coming into the bike lane. And then he's being followed by 2 other vehicles. Now, let's call 311 while we got him on the phone and ask him who's responsible for marking the bike lane and on Blue Hill Ave, and see who takes up that responsibility. Probably say it's the Parks Department, or they might push it onto transportation, BTD. They always shift the blame on someone, so it's documented, and let them know that the whole stretch of Blue Hill Ave needs to be repainted. Well, before they even do that, they need to
Engine 29, Ladder 11, Master Box activation, 2597 Beacon Street. Engine 29, Ladder 11, Master Box activation, 2597 Beacon Street. Right, 0557 Beacon Street.
What's up, man? Hello? Yes, who's responsible for marking the bike lane on Blue Hill Ave going towards Mattapan?
It has to be so.
No, like who would take on that responsibility to mark the lanes? Like, it's because it's not marked. I was like, who would take that responsibility to mark the lanes?
Okay, so are you requesting that the lanes be remarked?
Right, correct. You know the area I'm talking about, right? Like, pretty much the whole Blue Hill Ave.
What's the address?
Well, if I gave you an address, it wouldn't be fair. So if I started at saying 786 Blue Hill, all the way down to Mattapan, I mean, the whole Blue Hill, the bike lane is not marked at all. You got cars traveling in the bike lane, which makes it very unsafe for bikers.
Okay, I can submit this over. Someone should be out to repave the bike lanes as soon as possible.
Well, say that one more time.
Someone to be out to repave the bike lane as soon as possible.
Hold on. Let me let these cars pass by. You said something about the bike lane. Say that one more time.
Yeah, someone should be out
But they should be out, you said?
to repave the bike lane as soon as possible.
Oh, okay. All right. Can I get a work number or instant number for that call?
Sure, hold on one moment.
Bravo.
Sure, thanks.
Man, we have 3 detours over at B3. She's doing all out for those 42873.
The reference number is 48.
We'll say it again.
48
48. Yep.
75
75
925.
925. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes,
All right. All right. So they said, and the most important thing is that these roadways haven't been maintained in the last 4 years. So to really do this the right way, it has to be repaved completely. Like none of that patchwork that they've been doing around the city of Boston, where they pick a section and like they do here, they cut out a little section and they patch it. This entire roadway will have to be repaved the correct way and done correctly. And they don't do that. Like they try to few here and there, but they're trying to save money, but they don't want to spend it the right way. And they should have a budget for this. Now they've been neglecting the roads and not sealing them properly. You know, shame on the city of Boston for not doing their job, but you know, somebody has to hold them accountable. And stuff like that. That's a road hazard right there. All right, guys, I'm gonna get ready to head up out of here. As you can see, there's so many cars that do travel in this bike lane. Now, they want to turn this into a one-lane traffic, which would even be worse. I mean, it would definitely be worse. See how they just they switch lanes? They don't even signal. They just jump into the lane as if they belong in that lane. This guy's coming up at a pretty good clip right here. You can't make this stuff up, guys. You really can't. Like I said, just about everybody does it. And even if this is not a bike lane, the rules of the road is no passing on the right. So you shouldn't be going faster than the car on your left. Now, I understand that rule should still be in effect too. There's no passing on the right. Now, if that is true, then why are you passing on the right? So either way, you're breaking the rules. I believe that's how it works, right? The state law is no passing on the right. I'm almost 100% sure that's how it works.
We have the detail on That's number to call.
All right, guys. There's another biker down there. Let's let that biker get up here safely before we shut the camera off, just in case somebody tries to run him off the road or something. Now you waste a lot of money putting bike lanes out, but you don't maintain them. And the other question that we want to ask our city officials is, where does that money come from? Does it come from the state? Does it come from the federal government? And what money is set aside to maintain the bike lanes if you have bike lanes? Because it should be a separate budget for that rather than the regular roadway too. Document how many cars travel in the bike lane. Like they do it all the time. Like, it's not safe for pedestrians nor bikers. Here comes another car. He's debating which way he should go. He's in the bike lane. Look at that. They don't even care. Wow, look at that one. Look at this. You can't make this stuff up, guys. And not only in the bike lane, you're speeding in the bike lane. As the traffic gets heavy and heavier, this becomes a traveling lane automatically. You see how that car's coming out and he don't have no chance to even make the turn properly?
Dispatch, 5463.
Supposed to be another professional driver. Best ride. I'm not sure what best ride that is. What's the matter? You okay? I'm documenting how many people travel in the bike lane. Okay. So you're not the only one. Everybody else is doing it too.
This is a bike lane?
That's a bike lane, yeah. See, the thing is, and I'm glad you said it that way, because a lot of people don't know it's a bike lane because it's not labeled properly. So if the city will label it properly, people will know that it's a bike lane. And they've been neglecting. They've been spending the money on something else. Mayor Wu been putting it in her pocket. So we're documenting it. For 4 years, this bike lane has not been maintained at all.
Is it first minute or is this a bike lane?
Exactly. No one. I'm glad you're saying with honesty, because honestly, you can't tell it's a bike lane. You really can't. So how would you know that unless I told you? Take care, buddy. Be safe. Now he was shocked too. He's like, this is a bike lane? Like, he said it with shockiness, and I believe him. Like, this is definitely you know. So where's the money at? That's the question now. That's not safe. You got a bus trying to cross another bus, and they can barely see across that bus. So that's very dangerous. That bus driver should have never let that bus cut in front of him like that. Never let two vehicles, a bigger vehicle should never let another bigger vehicle cut in front like that, because he blocks his whole view of seeing to his left. You know, that's not safe. And you transportation drivers, you're supposed to know that. Like, and I know they know, because I know they know. And I'm not gonna say how I know, but I know if they don't know, they shouldn't be driving okay, this is a special CDL you have to have for passengers, if you guys are aware of it. So it's a special class you take for CDL for trucks. And if you're going to drive with passengers, another CDL that you have to have a couple of endorsements to ride with passengers. And you got 20 passengers, 30 passengers, it goes on and on. So the number of passengers that, you know, should mean you have, well, it should mean, but doesn't mean you should have better experience in driving. You should have better experience driving a bus, but that doesn't mean that. I know a couple people have the CDLs, and they tell me, Nez, you're right on point with all the stuff you're saying. There's another guy in the bike lane that's trying to make his way up, so he's got to try to maneuver through all these cars now, because he doesn't have look like a female. She doesn't have a safe passage. It's not safe for her to be traveling that little spot right there. She got a kid on the back too. And she's supposed to go on the sidewalk. And she gotta go on the sidewalk because she can't ride in the street. I wonder if that's Mike. Alright guys, so I documented 90% of the cars. Well, I can't say 90%, I'll be lying. Well, how percentage wise, what would you say? 20%. 20% of the cars are traveling in the bike lane. Well, the percentage just moved up a little bit. Like I said, if I sit here long enough, I catch more cars doing it. So everybody's doing it. And some people know, some people don't know, but you know, it needs to be clearly marked, and it's not. I mean, that's one thing. And if you, how would you expect the driver to know that if you don't mark it? I mean, look at that. They see everybody else doing it. And they have a valid point when you think about that. It's not marked at all. There's no signage on the poles. Definitely no signage on the ground. There's no solid line. So typically, if you had a solid line, I mean, cars can't cross a solid line. There is no solid line. That solid line that was hasn't been in the last 4 years. Another situation of a transit bus letting a school bus cross, it blocks his whole view on the left side. Alright guys, let me head up out of here. Just want to show you what I see in the city. Many vehicles traveling in the bike lane.